Welcome, distinguished viewers, to the Age of Steel and Fire. When people talk about the Russia-Ukraine war, one question often arises: why has a military power like Russia not achieved a quick victory, while the United States and NATO once won lightning-fast campaigns in Iraq, Libya, or Afghanistan? Does this mean Russia is weak? Look deeper, and the story is far more complex. Ukraine is not a weak opponent. Before 2022, Ukraine ranked among the top 25 military powers in the world according to global firepower. It possessed thousands of tanks, artillery systems, tactical missiles, and advanced air defenses inherited from the Soviet Union. Beyond hardware, Ukraine had elite brigades, combat experience from years of conflict, and, most importantly, backing from the West: weapons, intelligence, and modern technology from the US, NATO, and the EU. So when compared to America's wars against weaker adversaries, the difference becomes clear. Russia is facing a strong Ukraine, supported by the entire Western alliance. This is not a tale of weakness, but proof of the brutal reality of a war between two formidable forces. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, the world witnessed a series of wars led by the United States and NATO. From the Gulf War in 1991, Kosovo in 1999, Afghanistan in 2001, Iraq in 2003, to Libya in 2011, all shared one common feature: the opponents were weak. Iraq, Afghanistan, and Libya lacked modern air defenses, had no means to resist cruise missiles or stealth aircraft. As a result, the US and NATO easily launched overwhelming shock and awe strikes from the air, breaking their enemies within weeks. These lightning victories created the illusion that any major power could swiftly defeat another nation. But Ukraine is not Iraq or Libya. Ukraine inherited Soviet military technology, possesses strong air defense systems, elite brigades, and, most importantly, support from the West. That is why the Russia-Ukraine war cannot be compared to NATO's quick campaigns. It is a clash between two formidable forces, where every advance is paid for in blood and time. Do not assume that Ukraine's constant requests for Western aid mean it is weak. In reality, even before 2022, Ukraine was among the strongest militaries in Eastern Europe, ranked within the top 25 globally by global firepower. Ukraine possessed thousands of tanks, artillery systems, tactical missiles, and advanced air defenses inherited from the Soviet Union. Yet its strength was not only in hardware. It lay in the combat readiness of its corps and elite brigades, units hardened by years of fighting in Donbass, trained under harsh conditions, and capable of highly coordinated operations. When the war erupted, Ukraine did not rely solely on Western aid. It leveraged its own military foundation, while support from the US, NATO, and the EU acted as a catalyst, upgrading weapons, boosting firepower, and sustaining resistance. This proves Ukraine is not a weak nation, but a formidable opponent with solid military roots, reinforced by Western backing. When people talk about Ukraine's strength, they often focus only on Western aid from the US, NATO, and the EU. But in reality, Ukraine also possesses a strong defense industry, capable of producing and maintaining a wide range of military equipment. During the Soviet era, Ukraine was a major hub of military industry, home to factories building tanks, aircraft, missiles, and even warships. After independence, despite economic challenges, Ukraine retained the ability to produce and repair equipment, from upgraded T-64 tanks and self-propelled artillery to tactical missiles like the Tochka-U. This meant Ukraine could sustain its own fighting capacity, not just rely on foreign support. When the war erupted, Western aid became a massive boost. The US supplied HIMARS, Patriot, Javelin. Europe delivered Leopard and Abrams tanks, drones, and modern artillery. Yet Ukraine's domestic defense industry allowed it to absorb, repair, and integrate these weapons into its own system of warfare. Thus, Ukraine is not merely a recipient of aid. It is a nation with a solid military foundation, a defense industry capable of sustaining prolonged conflict, and the backing of the West to elevate its strength. This is why the Russia-Ukraine war has become one of the most intense and balanced conflicts of the modern era. When we look at the Russia-Ukraine war, we should not hastily conclude that Russia is weak simply because the conflict has dragged on. In reality, Ukraine is a formidable opponent, inheriting Soviet military power, fielding elite brigades hardened by combat, maintaining a defense industry to sustain war, and, most importantly, receiving massive support from the US, NATO, and the EU. This war is not like America's lightning campaigns in Iraq or Libya. It is a clash between two major forces, where every advance is paid for in blood, time, and resources. Thus, the story is not about Russia's weakness, but Ukraine's strength, and this combination has turned the war into one of the most formidable challenges Russia has faced since World War II. Viewed in full, this is not a story of weakness, it is evidence of the brutal balance between two major forces. A war whose outcome will be remembered for decades to come. Let us conclude with a clear reminder. The Russia-Ukraine war remains a conventional conflict, fought without weapons of mass destruction such as nuclear arms. Yet within this crucible, the Russian military has gathered invaluable lessons forged in the largest and most modern-scale war since World War II. Weapons have been tested relentlessly under unforgiving conditions, refined and reshaped. New tactics have been carved out with the aid of robotics, artificial intelligence, and formidable electronic warfare. At the same time, Russia has learned to counter the most advanced Western systems, proving resilience against cutting-edge technology. International observers note that this battlefield has become a proving ground, and many predict that Russian weapons, hardened and validated in real combat, will be sought after across the globe in the years to come.